Hey, Spiritual Girls in a Material World with Kelly Sullivan Walden and Nancy T starts now.
Hello, everybody. We are the Spiritual Girls in a Material World, and we are here to celebrate the bling, the ka-ching, and the mystical and everything. That's right. Oh my gosh, today we have such a great topic. Kelly Sullivan Walden and me, Nancy T, we're going to talk about something, and oh boy, are we going to talk. We're going to talk about those tapes that you have running in your head. And it might be a thought that you have yourself or something that someone told you, but it's that thing that runs in the back of your mind that says, I'm a loser, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm ugly. And this was actually requested to us by Suzy on Facebook. So Suzy, this is your answer. Kelly's going to take it away first because she knows all about this stuff. What do you say, Kel, when you have that stuff going in the back of your head and you just hear it and you hear it and you hear it and you go, oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think that of myself. What do you do?
Well, first of all, I can't relate at all, so I think we just need to skip to the next subject. Just kidding.
I'm kidding, yeah.
I could probably talk on this for at least 25 lifetimes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to get my water.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly's going to talk.
There's so much to say here. I mean, in many ways, when we were talking before the show, I was thinking this is probably the entire reason I became a hypnotherapist and that I've studied everything I've ever studied, the fact that I've ever bought any journal I've ever bought. I mean, I think there's been so many little things that have chipped away at we'll just call it self-loathing, self-criticism, and chipped away at it in a good way, like to get rid of it. And I think one of the things that was most impactful was The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I always have a book to recommend, and I don't have it to show everybody, but imagine that I do.
And it says The Artist's Way on it.
It says The Artist's Way, and
so it's teetering on top of a makeup thing now.
oh, yes. So as an aside, purses should always be not on the floor. And abracadabra, I just manifested my Artist's Way.
Oh,
and have you ever seen a more tattered, ragged book a more well-loved book in your life? This is like, and this is probably my 10th one. So this is not like the original. Whoa, cute. I mean, I've gone through so many of these. So in The Artist's Way, there's such, it's almost like this whole book is dedicated, dedicated to how to work with the critic and how to work around it. It's like 1,000 different workarounds for.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
That noise outside my window, is it making you crazy?
So one of the things that Julia Cameron, had one of the exercises is you make a caricature of your inner critic and like a cartoon. And I picked Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid. And you make it larger than life so that you have what, Nancy? Ursula.
You know what she sings? She's all, and in the past I've been a nasty. Remember her?
I do. Yes. How else? Okay. What else does she do?
I'm not doing it anymore.
Oh, that was really good. I love it when you sing. It's the best.
Even if I'm Ursula.
Yes.
That's funny. Okay, yeah. I mute myself so you continue with your story, but I love that you have a Little Mermaid reference. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So I just drew like a cartoon character. So it helps to be able to call them out of the shadow and give them this personification so that you know that the voice of criticism is not the voice of God, is not the almighty voice of reason, that you are in fact flawed and you should not be on this planet and there is a mark against you and off you go. But when you see, oh, it's Ursula the Sea Witch. Oh, that's, how valid is she? Okay, so that's one thing. And also just as a little reference, Julia Cameron, who's written probably over 30 books, And I think that's a really gross underestimate. I think she's probably written more than like 50 books. Her inner critic, she calls Nigel, and he's English and he's very snooty. And he will tell her, even though she's the best-selling copies, he will tell her, you can't write. You should never pick up a pen. You should never. So the fact that even somebody who is as accomplished a writer as Julia Cameron, she deals with Nigel every day. And if she doesn't do her work, she says that Nigel will take her out, because it is like, it's like on a mission. All right.
Wow.
So that's,
I think that's such an important thing, just to insert real quick.
yeah,
As much as you might think somebody next to you has their crap together, or someone else is swimming in the lovely fast lane, everybody has that inside voice. There's
absolutely.
one of us that does them.
Absolutely. I remember Marianne Williamson saying once about, like, it's like Darth Vader would never say, like, I'm just an insecure part of you that's trying to, it's like, no, I am the force. I know. It's never, the voice of the critic will never say, hello, I'm the critic and you shouldn't listen to me and I'm just scared and I'm worried. It's like, no, it has a booming voice as if it was the voice of God, but it's not. Okay, so here's one more thing and then I have another thing. So really two things. All right. A friend of mine, may she rest in peace, she had a beautiful thing that she used to do where she would dialogue with her critic, and she would say, she would let her critic write in her journal, like, fat, stupid, ugly, nobody loves you, you should eat worms, all that stuff. And then when it was kind of like done, she would say, and where did you get your qualifications? What university did you go to? Like, what gives you... And of course, there's like radio silence, like, shit, she caught me. Like, I don't know anything. I'm just the voice of criticism. I don't have a PhD. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm just curious. Where do you gosh, you sure sound authoritative. It sounds like you must have many degrees under your belt. And of course, it's like, shoot, she called me out. Okay, but here is the thing that I think really, really, really works. This is the thing that I do. And I love this. So because I do a lot of dream work, I treat waking life like it's a dream, because it is of a certain type. So if I am hearing the voice of criticism, I will let it journal and I'll look for what's right about it. So let me see. Anytime there's risk, usually it's anytime there's, like I just did the dream questing course, and there's a lot of doing stuff for the first time. And is it going to work? It's like anytime I put myself out there, I'm exposed. I hear the, you're not prepared enough. You don't know enough. You don't have this enough. It's like not enough, not enough, not enough. And I will do some journaling with it, and I'll look for what's right about this. What's right about my inner critic? So if I look for what's right about it, I can say, oh, this voice it wants me to be prepared. It's like an overprotective parent that is trying to get me from running out in the street and getting hit by a car. Like, you're going to kill yourself. Don't take any risks. It's like, just be safe. So I can think, oh, this part of me doesn't hate me. It doesn't want me dead. It just doesn't want me risking. It doesn't want me to take too many risks. It doesn't want me to play it too safe. It actually is looking out for my best interest in a very old school kind of a way. But just like an overprotective parent, once you become mature enough, you can go, oh, they meant well. They're doing the best they can. They love me in their own kind of sick way. They're trying to keep me safe. And that means that's love. So it really just equals love. And then what I can do with that is say, okay, so thank you so much for loving me. And thank you, because guess what? I'm alive today. And you probably had something to do with that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to give you an award for having worked so hard to keep me here. And I know that's your job. So I'm giving you an award. And because you did so good at your job, you get to retire, or I'm going to give you a promotion and a level up so that you can still help to protect me, but let's raise your vibration. Let's take it up to another level. Let's make it so that you're more in sync with my creativity, because clearly me being creative hasn't killed me. But what if you're still lurking around the perimeter so that in case I miss something, you can inform me, but you're also in sync with my creative process. How's that? So I don't think there's any part of me that truly wants to go rogue and just want me dead. I think if I interact with it and look for where it's trying to love me, and then I can level it up a little bit, then I'm not working against myself. There's no enemy. And there's Shadow lurking in my shadow in the background. Isn't that perfect? And she's just lovable. Okay, I'm done. I passed the talking stick.
Well, it's interesting because there are a couple of things that I thought of when I thought of this question, but just first to respond to what you said. At first, when you said, look for what's right, I could see myself saying, yeah, I am ugly. I am fat, and that's what I went, ugh. But you're not talking about that. You're talking about the judgment and what's beneath it that actually is loving. And there's always something that is loving, that's protective. The reason why you don't want yourself to be maybe overweight is because you want to be healthy. You want to live longer. You want to, there's that. And
right.
So it's hard to get past that, but I'm glad that you said that other piece, because that's the key right there, is to go underneath. And I started to think about this, speaking of going in terms of like the 4 agreements, speaking of books we love.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is don't jump to conclusions. And another is don't take anything personally. And I think that's the thing, because to me, every negative thought that we ever had came from someone else, or came from this moment where we thought we failed and now we have this thought. But I'll tell you what, every thought I've ever thought about myself, my physical appearance, has always come from someone else saying it. And you have to think about, that wasn't about them, that wasn't about you, that was about them. And you say, oh, come on, if I'm fat and they say I'm fat, then how could that be about them? But it's about them needing to make you feel less than. It's about them needing to make you not feel beautiful so you don't shine too brightly. And do you know what I mean? So I keep wanting to say, if we go back to it, to every thought you have, and get back to where did that come from? Who said that first? You might find, and you will find, if you really are honest, that not one single person was ever talking about you. It was always about their insides and what they needed to make you feel, to make them feel better. And how can we value that? Oh. Her dog just snuck in and I had to say, Loli, Loli, Lo.
Loli, Loli. Here she is. Here's my little Loli.
And she calls her Loli, and that's what my mom called my oldest sister, Lori. She called her Loli. So when you say that, it just warms my heart.
Oh, little Loli. Yeah, and I think even...
4 agreements, baby.
What's that?
The 4 agreements, baby.
4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best and be impeccable with your word. And I think I probably got them out of order.
Oh, no, there is no order. It's all of them.
It's all of them, all the time.
And when I follow that book and I really drink it in and embrace it, I'm always at peace. And I think there's something to that. That's because all of these voices, what they do is they disrupt your peace. They mess with your peace. So right. I can't recommend that enough. I think my book is over here. Do I need to go magically?
And we just happen to have a little screen share of, there you go.
When I loan this book out, every time I think someone needs it and needs peace. And so there it is, The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And Kelly has had the wonderful fortune of meeting him. But I love this book.
Yeah.
So much book, but the don't take it personally. That one, when you say nothing is personal, nothing's about you, it's always about that other person. If you really think about it, it's true. It's
absolutely.
True. Think of anything.
Okay, so here's one more take on the pressing the pause button or finding the off switch for those voices in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I think one other I think there's 1,000 getting in places. I think that we could dedicate our entire lives to this and we would never get to the bottom of it. And it's a worthy pursuit because it's something that we all have and we all have to deal with. And it's a blessing in disguise because I think the insights that we find can be useful and there's a value in them. But one other perspective is there's an ego trick to buying into the inner critic, meaning it's like almost like a how dare you buy into that, because you've got a life that is here to contribute and you're letting something stop you. So you could ask yourself, what am I getting out of getting derailed and getting like having my tires be punctured constantly by my inner critic? What am I getting out of that? Oh, well, I get to play safe. Oh, I don't get to stick myself out as much. Or my light dims a little, so I don't have to, I'm not at risk. Basically, it all comes down to I get to play more safe. But safe isn't fun, safe isn't joy. And I also find that it's almost like it becomes selfish to indulge in that voice. I know that when I let my stinking thinking do the thinking and it takes over, I actually can't contribute to people in the way that I otherwise would. It's like if I go to a party and I'm totally feeling self-conscious that my butt looks too big, and it's always the fault of my jeans, never because my butt is actually too big.
Oh God, no.
Or the prayer beads. It's always something. It's like the Margaritaville. Just kidding. But if I'm at the party and I'm thinking about I'm fat or I'm not wearing the right thing or I'm not smart enough or whatever, then when I'm sitting there talking to somebody, I'm going to be that, all of that's going to be in the space, and I'm not going to have the ability to notice, oh, there's a human in front of me that who might have a broken heart themselves, who might be suffering more than me. I won't have the bandwidth to be intuitive to go, oh, honey, what do you need? What's going on with you? So in some way, it's an act of service to move out the stinking thinking, to get the inner sewage pipes moving, to get all that sewage out of the space so that there can be contribution. And for some reason, when it kicks into, oh, when I hear it's indulgent, this might need to be a part 2. I think we're going to wrap this in a little bow and we'll do a part 2.
How many minutes are we on? Can you tell?
How many
you've been talking?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention. But I think we're going to do a part 2 and wrap it in a little bow.
Okay. Well, then
so
this one up.
Thank you for watching this episode of Spiritual Girls in a Material World. And I hope that you've gotten something out of this. I hope that you're getting some insight about what that little voice in your head says and does to you. What are your tips, tricks, techniques to move through it, to move on? Or have you found any yet? I'm sure you have. I don't think you would be alive and watching this if you didn't have some strategy for being able to maneuver through. I think we can use all the tips, tricks, and techniques that we have. So please share them with us. We would love to share them with the world. And share this video if you like it, and like us on Facebook, and like Nancy on Facebook. She's Marilyn Me, A to Z with Marilyn Me, and I'm just Kelly Sullivan Walden, Dr. Dream. That's all, just a few little small syllables. And I think that's it. So let us curtsy and namaste and namaste go.